Dear President Biden, Vice President Harris, and members of the 117th Congress, remember the child. Herod murdered children for fear of losing his power. Saul destroyed child and infant alike. Pharaoh murdered all the Hebrew boys. And then with the 10th plague, God killed every firstborn. Abraham threw out Hagar and Ishmael for Sarah's fear of a shared inheritance. Our religious traditions and our nation are tethered together in the failed imaginations of male leaders who cannot dream big enough dreams for every child. From enslaving Black bodies and committing genocide against Indigenous peoples to limiting access to basic needs like clean water, healthcare, housing, and education for Black, Indigenous, Latinos, recent arrivals, and broader peoples of color. The nation's narrative has been marked by a war on children. Now, this is not a distant history. On our southern border, children are locked in cages. 5 million children in the US live in poverty, 73% of whom are children of color. The education gap begins as early as preschool education for Latinx, Indigenous, and Black children. And yet, our tradition also tells us that God met Hagar and Ishmael near the water, called the young boy to live, and spoke great promise over his life. Moses' mother placed her infant son in a basket of reeds, and his mother, Miriam, advocated to Pharaoh's daughter for his mother to care for him. Mary saved her child, Jesus, by migrating to a distant land. President Biden, in the eyes of all children, in the laughter of the child, definitely laugh. In full bellies, in the image of a small pointer finger running across the lines of a children's book. In the hopeful raised arms, it calls for us adults to lift up those little bodies and love those big hearts. In these moments, you and this nation can find its heart and soul. Now, Jesus said, "Let the children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." Let all the children come. Let us not hinder them. With deep love and admiration. Patrick.